Hello, and welcome to Complete Chiropractic Healthcare and the website of Dr. Greg Arnold, www.pitchingdoc.com. Today we're going to be discussing my November 2nd, 2015 newsletter, setting your off-season timeline. And if you look below the date, there's a hyperlink to a PDF, which sometimes is easier to read. So as we start to get into the winter and we have to start looking towards next year, there are questions that I get about what kind of conditioning should we be doing, excuse me, when should you start throwing again, and when we start doing pitching lessons again. So here are three off-season rules that I've come up with. Again, these are very generic, very basic. You can fit them however way you want it. But number three is rest, is finding 1 month in the winter or even during the summer that you completely get away from baseball. And the biggest reason is because of the rate of burnout and overtraining that I'm seeing with my baseball students. These young players, they're playing 10 months a year, they're playing 60 games, tournaments, showcases, and it really is going almost completely year-round, and the kids don't have a chance to recover. So most parents are shocked when I talk to them and I tell them I don't want to see your son for a couple months in the fall. He should be doing other sports, conditioning, weight room, things like that, and taking one of those months to be, complete rest and abstinence from baseball. Excuse me, and this means no optional practices with your teams, no hitting or pitching lessons, not even going to the baseball facility and hitting in the cage, just completely getting away from the game so the kids start to learn to miss the game a little bit, so that when they start to practice up again, the quality of their training is high. A lot of kids, they're burnt out, so the quality of their practices go down and their development actually starts to plateau. So when you train, you have to go 110%, but you can't do that 10 months a year. You have to learn to get away and play different sport, rest, get away from the game a little bit. The other thing for kids as we get older, 14, 15, 16 years old, is to get into the weight room. The biggest issue with playing year-round, excuse me, is the lack of proper training in terms of recovering and getting ready for the next year. And what I call this a death by 1,000 cuts scenario, because it just leads to aches and pains that may eventually lead to injury. Almost, I would say 90% of the kids I see in my office in January and February with arm problems, 9 out of 10 of them have played fall ball the previous year, and they haven't recovered, and now their arms are already starting to give out. This actually happened with me in the winter, where I had a 12-year-old kid with a torn ligament. Fortunately, he didn't need surgery. We rehabilitated him with medicine ball work and weighted jump rope and chiropractic treatment. But it was very, very frustrating to see a 12-year-old kid in March have a torn ligament because he played baseball the previous fall and didn't get a chance to recover. But when you get into the weight room, there are some very important do's and don'ts of lifting in the weight room for baseball players, and this is where my baseball video library comes in. And if you go to my website and you click at the title at the top, it'll take you to the video library page, and you can scroll down and it will go through a 1-minute video about what's in there, and one of them has to do with working out in the weight room. Okay, what exercises are best? What do we got to stay away from? How do you train in season? How do you train off season? So this is a presentation in the video library. So finally, what we talk about is what I call the 3-week rule about when do we start throwing again. And the 2 rules that I use is that you need to be long tossing 3 times a week for 3 weeks before getting back on the mound. And in my video library, I have a presentation on long toss that talks about how to properly do it, when to do it during the season, when to do it off season. And we want to pitch once per week. Usually means coming in for a pitching lesson once a week for at least 3 weeks before you start any organized team baseball, so that you don't get on the mound and start throwing incorrectly right away. So again, long toss 3 times a week for 3 weeks, pitch once a week for at least 3 weeks, sometimes even up to 5 or 6 weeks before your baseball tryouts or your team tryouts. So if we take these 3 rules and we want to apply it into a sample off season, we usually do it with kids who are getting ready for school tryouts. So what does that mean? So if we count backwards, November, complete rest from anything, any kind of baseball activity, sleep. Hopefully you're playing a different sport in school. Focus on your studies. And then in December would be the weightlifting month, where you get in there at least 3 times a week. You start to run, you start to do distance running, and then you also start to do sprint running. Now there's a type of sprint workout right here. You can go to Wikipedia. I know it has a funny name, but it actually means speed play in Swedish, and it means about stopping and starting. So I usually tell the kids, when you're doing sprint work, you're going to go to a high school track, you're going to run the straightaways and then walk the roundabouts. It's going to teach your body to explode and recover and improve your cardiovascular ability to recover between pitches. When we get into January and February, we start doing the medicine ball program at least 3 times a week, and we still do our distance running, we still do our sprinting, and then again in the baseball video library I have a medicine ball deceleration training presentation that will teach you how to do this program for overall posterior shoulder strength and deceleration ability. We get into January, we're still there, we're doing long toss 3 times a week for 3 weeks, we're doing the medicine ball still twice a week, and we're still doing our running and our distance running and our sprinting. And then February we're doing long toss twice a week, we're pitching once a week for 30 pitches off the mound, doing the med balls and doing the running and the sprinting, and that will get you ready for your March school tryouts. So it's very important to rest, it's very important to train properly in the weight room, do the medicine ball work, weighted jump rope, all that. So I hope you found this newsletter, this presentation valuable. If you have any questions, you can contact me at the phone on the screen, email me pitchingdoc@msn.com, or you can go to my website at www.pitchingdoc.com. Thank you.